The little girl sat alone on the cold hospital bench, clutching her swollen hand against her chest, tears streaming silently down her pale cheeks. Her lips trembled as pain rippled through her tiny fingers, each breath shallow and afraid, as if the world had suddenly grown too heavy for someone so small. Nurses rushed past without noticing her shaking shoulders, and in that moment, her quiet suffering felt invisible, forgotten, and unbearably lonely. If you believe stories of kindness, second chances, and hidden love deserve to be seen, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. She had been brought there by a driver who barely looked back at her when he dropped her off. The accident itself was small in the eyes of adults, a simple fall on a marble staircase in a mansion too large to feel like a home. But to her, it was everything. The pain in her hand was sharp and unrelenting, yet what hurt more was the familiar emptiness she carried every day. Her world was filled with luxury, expensive toys, and echoing halls, but no warmth. Her mother had passed away years earlier, and since then, silence had become her closest companion. The staff cared for her needs, but not her heart. And her father, a man known across the city as a powerful millionaire, was always away, chasing deals, numbers, and success that never seemed to include her. As she sat there, staring at the white hospital walls, memories drifted through her mind like fading photographs. Birthdays celebrated with cakes bigger than her smile but no hugs. Evenings spent watching cartoons alone while the house glowed with lights yet felt dark inside. Her injured hand throbbed, but she did not cry loudly. She had learned early that being quiet was safer, that tears often went unnoticed anyway. Still, her small body trembled as fear crept in, wondering if anyone would come, or if she would once again be left to heal alone. Time stretched painfully. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and sadness, and every passing second felt heavier than the last. She pressed her hand harder against her chest, hoping the pain would stop, hoping someone would see her. Deep inside, she wished not just for relief, but for comfort. For a voice that would tell her she mattered. For arms that would wrap around her and make the world feel less frightening. Unbeknownst to her, somewhere across the city, her father was in the middle of an important meeting, surrounded by men who admired his wealth and feared his authority. His phone buzzed repeatedly on the table, ignored at first, until something compelled him to glance at the screen. The message was short, urgent, and unexpected. His daughter was in the hospital. Her hand was injured. For a moment, the room blurred. The numbers, the contracts, the power he had built so carefully suddenly felt meaningless. A sharp, unfamiliar pain struck his chest, not unlike the pain his daughter was feeling in her hand. He had always believed providing the best material life was enough. He convinced himself that distance was necessary, that love could be replaced with comfort and security. But as he stood abruptly and walked out, leaving stunned executives behind, a truth he had avoided for years began to surface. He had been absent not because he was busy, but because he was afraid. Afraid of loss, afraid of attachment, afraid of loving deeply again after losing his wife. And in avoiding that pain, he had unknowingly passed it on to his child. Back at the hospital, the little girl's tears slowed, exhaustion replacing fear. Her eyes grew heavy as she rested her head against the wall, her injured hand still aching. She wondered if this was what life would always feel like, moments of pain endured quietly, without comfort. Just as her eyes began to close, hurried footsteps echoed down the hallway, growing louder with each second. The air seemed to shift, charged with urgency and something else she could not name. When he finally appeared, breathless and pale, the powerful man known to the world vanished, replaced by a shaken father staring at his child in pain. The sight of her small body, curled inward, broke something inside him. He crossed the distance in seconds, kneeling in front of her, his expensive suit forgotten on the cold floor. For the first time in years, he truly saw her. Not as a responsibility, not as something to be managed, but as his daughter, fragile and hurting. As doctors examined her hand and reassured him that she would heal, he remained close, refusing to leave her side. His presence was awkward at first, unfamiliar to both of them. Yet slowly, as the minutes passed, something softened. She felt it before she understood it, a warmth replacing the emptiness she had grown used to. His hand rested gently near hers, careful not to cause pain, but close enough to promise protection. The days that followed marked a quiet transformation. He canceled meetings, ignored calls, and stayed with her through the night. He listened as she spoke about her fears, her loneliness, her small dreams. Each word struck him deeply, filling him with regret but also hope. He realized that healing her hand was simple compared to healing her heart and his own. For the first time since his wife's death, he allowed himself to grieve, to feel, and to love without fear. Slowly, life at the mansion changed. Laughter replaced silence. Meals were shared, stories exchanged, and moments once lost were reclaimed. Her hand healed, but more importantly, her smile returned, brighter and more genuine than ever before. And in her happiness, he found a redemption he never knew he needed. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment now to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread stories that remind us what truly matters. Before the story ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below with a heart emoji or a few words about what this story made you feel. Your thoughts mean more than you know. In the end, the little girl learned that pain can sometimes be the doorway to love, and the millionaire father learned that no success in the world could ever replace being present for the one person who needed him most. And together, they discovered that healing begins not with wealth, but with compassion, courage, and a second chance at love.